Liopleurodon was a huge sea monster that lived during the late Jurassic period. It had huge, sharp teeth that it used to snack on prey it ambushed in coral reefs. But by the beginning of the Cretaceous period, which began 145 million years ago, Liopleurodon went extinct. But what if it didn't? What if it survived until modern day? How would the course of history have changed? That's what we are going to talk about right now on Life's Biggest Questions. Hello and welcome back to Life's Biggest Questions, the channel that imagines the impossible. I'm Charlotte Dobre. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, subscribe, and ask us a question in the comments below. Before we can determine what would have happened if Liopleurodon didn't go extinct, let's learn a little about it. Liopleurodon is a marine reptile belonging to the pliosaur group that swam in the Earth's oceans during the late Jurassic period, 160 to 150 million years ago. Liopleurodon's name is Greek for smooth-sided teeth. Back when it was discovered in 1873, 3 huge machete-like teeth were found in a French town. Liopleurodon became a little more famous after the BBC featured it in their series, Walking with Dinosaurs. The thing is, the BBC producers on the show lied a little about how big it was. Rather than being 80 feet, Liopleurodon was more like 25 to 30 feet. The BBC didn't exaggerate its size on purpose. The fact is, they came up with 80 feet because Liopleurodon's skull is oversized, meaning that its head was pretty big in comparison to the rest of its body. There were a lot of other types of pliosaurs as well as plesiosaurs swimming around the ocean during the Jurassic period, and Liopleurodon was mid-sized in comparison. Back in the late Jurassic, a lot of what is now Western Europe was covered by a shallow body of water, inhabited by marine life. Liopleurodon was the apex predator of this ecosystem. It ate pretty much everything in sight, from fish to squids to other types of marine reptiles. It was a pretty fast swimmer and used its foreflippers and streamlined body to hunt quickly and effortlessly in the water. That being said, it definitely wasn't the biggest or fastest predator in the sea. When hunting, it would take cover in a reef and ambush its prey. Perhaps one of the most notable characteristics of Liopleurodon was its extremely good sense of smell. It could smell prey from extremely far away by detecting chemicals in the water. It could not, however, breathe underwater. It needed to breathe oxygen at the surface like whales do. We know that Liopleurodon lived in shallow waters. Coral reefs were its home and hunting grounds, but that's also where sharks like to hang out. As you probably know from our previous videos on this channel, huge sharks also roamed the seas many millions of years ago. Between 23 to 2.6 million years ago, megalodon sharks were one of the main apex predators. If Liopleurodon didn't go extinct, neither would have megalodons. If Liopleurodons survived their extinction, past the mass extinction of the dinosaurs, they likely would have been at the top of the food chain, at least until sharks came around. Megalodon sharks consumed a wide variety of prey. Who's to say they wouldn't have eaten Liopleurodons, who would have shared their habitat? Liopleurodon would be no match for a megalodon shark that were believed to have been up to 59 feet in length. Not to mention, Liopleurodon needs to breathe air at the surface of the water. Sharks don't. That being said, considering it had an extremely good sense of smell, Liopleurodon would have been able to detect megalodon sharks from far away, and if one ever came around, hide from it. In terms of human history, a lot would have been different if Liopleurodon didn't go extinct. Since it lived in a shallow body of water over top of what is now modern-day Europe, it would have likely stuck around that area when the water receded, still living around reefs. Essentially, classical humans would have believed Liopleurodon was a sea monster. I mean, they didn't exactly know what dinosaurs were now, did they? So the only other reasonable explanation would be that they were sea monsters, or gods. We would have seen paintings and images of Liopleurodon depicted on vases. Perhaps even Greek writers like Homer would have documented them. Sea travel around the Mediterranean and Western Europe would have been far more difficult. I mean, people would have had to worry about Liopleurodon and massive megalodon sharks. Entire voyages likely wouldn't have happened unless humans invented weapons powerful enough to kill Liopleurodon. Thankfully, Liopleurodon went extinct, as did megalodon sharks. I'm not mad about that. For now, I'm Charlotte Dobre, and you've been watching Life's Biggest Questions. If you enjoyed this video, you'll love our playlist Biggest What Ifs, clickable on the screen right now. As always, make sure notifications are turned on by clicking the bell, and we will see you in the next video.